Welcome to another episode of Mr. Mustache Craps. Today, instead of doing throwing practices or giving technique improvement suggestions, I'm going to explain for beginners about the craps game, how the board layout, how the basic bets work. So, when you come upon a craps table in a casino, it looks pretty overwhelming and confusing. But when you break it down into its little subsections for bets you can make, it's really not that confusing at all. So starting off, you have the pass line, and when it's your turn to roll, you must bet on the pass line. That is the only time that you must bet on it. Above here is the don't pass line, and as I'll explain later, it's exactly opposite of the pass line. So when you bet for in the pass line, you're betting against in the don't pass line. Same thing with the come bet. The come bet and the don't come bet are opposite. So you're betting against one or the other. Again, I'll get into that shortly. So the basic of the game is, with rolling the dice, you want to avoid the 7, except on what's called the come out roll. So when it's your turn to roll, you would place a pass line bet, and then you are given the dice and you roll them. Your objective is to get one of the place bet box numbers, and then that will become your point. So if you rolled a 9, that would become the point number. But while you're making that come out roll, if you hit a 7 or 11, you get paid 1-to-1 on the pass line. If you get a 2, 3, or 12, you will lose that bet, and then you would have to replace it so you can roll again. Now, the don't pass, as I mentioned, is the exact opposite as the pass. So when you're throwing the dice on a come out roll and you have your bet on the don't pass line or bar, basically, if you throw a 7 or 11, you lose your bet on this. On a 2 or a 3, you win your bet on this, and a 12 would be a push. And that's on most tables. Some are slightly different. So we'll just say if you put a bet on the pass line, and then you roll the dice and you throw a 9, the point then becomes the 9. The objective is to throw another 9 before you throw a 7. So that's the bottom line objective of the game. So after the point is set, you would have an opportunity to make bets on any of the table. So say if you bet the 6 and the 8, and we'll pretend this is a $6 table or a $5 table just to make finances or math a little bit easier. And you also want to bet the 5. So you already had a bet on the pass line. That was before you threw your come out roll where you rolled the 9. So on your next roll, if you hit the 5 or the 6 or the 8, you'll get paid on whichever number that is. If you roll a 9, you've achieved your objective, the puck gets turned off, and you get paid for the 9, which this would be this bet. The pass line counts as whatever the point number is. You can bet additionally to this number, but you don't have to. So we'll just say you have not rolled the 9 yet after coming out. So say if you rolled a 6, well, you would get paid $7 for that 6. Okay, so then you would pick that up, and that would go in your rack. Next time you roll a 5. Well, you get paid $7. Okay, and you say, well, why is that? Why do I have a bet here that pays 6 and a bet here that pays 5? So the reason is because of the odds. So when you throw a 7, or a 7 is the most likely number to come up statistically, followed by 6 and 8, 9 and 5, and then 4 and 10. So with a standard bet of $5, you get paid more for that $5 than, or it'd be the same as what you get paid on the 6th, for example. But here you have an extra dollar bet. So you're betting less and getting paid the same. Now, if you would bet $5 on the 4 or 10, and that number is rolled, then you would get paid $9. And that's all off of the $5 bet. Again, that's because of the odds. The odds of rolling a 4 or 10 are a lot harder than 6 or 8. So that's how the payout works for the place bets here. So as you play, as you're throwing the dice, and you're getting paid on the numbers that you have bets on, and that hit the numbers, then at some point, if you either hit the 9, as I said, you completed your objective, you hit the point number before rolling a 7, and the puck will go off, and then you would start rolling again. You get another round of rolling. Now, had you rolled a 7 while the puck was on, that would end your turn at rolling, and all the bets on the table go to the house. So that's the basics of the place bets. Now, as I mentioned, the don't pass and don't come are opposite of each other. So are the lay bets. The lay bets are opposite of the place bets. So the lay bets, you are betting that the number that is set as point, again, we'll use 9 as an example, you are betting that the thrower, whether it's yourself or somebody else, will roll a 7 before hitting the point. When you're on place bets, you're betting that they will hit the point before the 7. So again, the lay bets are the exact opposite. So the pay is essentially, well, it's different a little bit, especially when you're betting with odds. But I'm not going to get into the odds because this is a high-level overview. So if you add that and say these 3 lay bets, you're betting that, hoping that these 3 numbers do not get rolled, and that instead of the 9 being rolled, that they roll a 7. Because then you would get paid on these 3 bets. So it's a little bit more confusing, a little bit less straightforward than here. But essentially, you are betting the exact opposite as you are here. You're betting the thrower will not hit this number before throwing a 7. When the thrower throws a number on here, you get paid on here. If they throw the number on one of the ones that you have, then you lose that bet. So it's an exact inverse. So the come bets, you have the come and the don't come. So long and short of it, the come bet is you don't know what number to pick, or you just don't really care. So you put your bet here, and when you or the roller throws the dice, whatever number that it hits, the bet gets moved to that number, whether it's 9 or whatever the point is, or to whatever they throw. And this time it'll go inside the box, whereas normally your bets are on the line. If you tell the dealer, I want to place $5 on the 9, he will put it on the line. When it's a come, it goes inside the box, and then you could bet additional odds on that if you so choose. Well, the don't come is essentially the same thing. It's betting, or it takes the next number and puts it on whatever number is thrown. So that, again, that's a real high-level overview of the main parts of the table. except for the field bet. So the field bet is a very simple bet. The numbers that you see laid out here, you don't pick a number, you just put your bet on anywhere on the field, and if you roll one of these numbers, you win. If the number that comes up, like a 5 is not there, or the 8 is not there, the 6 is not there, if those numbers do not come up, then you don't win. If it's the number listed here, you don't win. If the number listed, you do win. If this is a 2 or a 12 that gets rolled, you win double. So that's very straightforward, very easy bet. And when you bet, you do want to be mindful because you can spend a lot of money on this game very quick. If you're not familiar with different betting strategies or have somebody there to guide you that really knows how to read the table, you can lose a lot of money really quick. So the next section is the central section here. And it's 4 different sections. You have 2 lines, one on the top, one on the bottom. They're both one-time bets. You bet it, you roll. If it doesn't come up, the house takes your money. If it does come up, then it pays accordingly. A 7 would pay 5 to 1, or any craps would pay 8 to 1. The lower portion here is the horn bets. And the images here, while the dice will always be the same, some only have 4 boxes. This one happens to have 2 11s. A different layout, but it's all the same horn bets. And it's a one-time bet. You place your bet, the dice is rolled. Either you hit the 2, 3, 11, or 12, and you win what's shown, or you lose your bet. This section here is for the hard ways, and it's when the dice are thrown exactly as pictured: 2 2s, 2 4s, 2 3s, 2 5s. When you place this bet, the bet stays until one of 2 things happen, or 3. 1, you can just pull it off at any time, but 2, if you roll a 7, of course, you would lose that bet. Or 3, if the easy way is rolled. So if a 4 is rolled in any other combination of dice, such as a 3 1 instead of the 2 2, you lose that 1 bet. Same thing for any of these. If it comes up for, instead of the 4 4, if it comes up 3 5 or 6 2, then you would lose that bet. But if it comes up the 4 4, you would then win 10 to 1. So that's the basic overall idea of these. So when you break it into sections, it's not that hard. The big 6 8 I didn't really go into. It's a one-shot bet. Some of the tables have the big 7 instead of the big 6 8. I'm not going to say it's a sucker's bet, but I generally stay away from that bet. But anyways, I believe I've covered everything about this, and I appreciate your time, and I hope that you have great luck. Please leave me comments and feedback. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day.